Hi, I'm Candace Benson, CEO of Benson Consulting and the proud sponsor of the New Hampshire Tech Alliance's Tech Women video series. Our video series is highlighting the stories and impacts of women leaders here in New Hampshire. I'm joined by Cyrena Arnold. Welcome, Cyrena.
Thank you. So happy to be here.
So excited to have you and to learn a little bit more about your unique journey, because you certainly have some interesting touch points: product marketing, meteorology, writing STEM books. So tell us a little bit more about your journey, what got you here, and then something exciting you're working on today.
Oh yeah, oh my gosh. So I'm one of those people that knew from the time I was 5 years old, I knew what I wanted to be when I grew up. So I had seen my first tornado in person when I was 5. So I've been obsessed with the weather ever since, in a very healthy way though, I promise. And so I got my meteorology degree, and it's taken me to places all around the globe, and I've been able to do a lot and work in a lot of different tech industries, and even bring tech to industries that maybe aren't thought of to be front leading in tech sometimes. And so it's been a really great experience. And so personally, I've been able to do things like write children's books and do a lot of media appearances. I think the coolest thing I've got going on right now is that I have another children's book coming out. And so it's going to be the third one. It's the tornado story. It'll be out here for the holidays of 2025.
Very exciting. I'll be sure to pick that up. Are we chasing tornadoes in the book?
We are actually,
right.
yes.
I talked about doing the tornado chasing trip.
I know.
So, yes.
So I do my annual storm chasing trip where I go out west and we're chasing tornadoes and having a lot of fun with the weather and getting back to the roots of what I love so much about meteorology. But yeah, this book also talks about the importance of meteorology, the importance of the National Weather Service, the importance of the data that they collect and maintaining that data, even the importance of storm chasers. So we do even see some storm chasers in the book.
Okay, very exciting. Well, we're looking forward to that. So since we're talking in the Women in Tech series here, can we talk a little bit about, so as a woman, what are some of the unique characteristics or skill sets you bring to the table when you're trying to get your team to build consensus or to get moving in the same direction around an idea or a project?
Yeah, that's a good question. I think being a woman, being a female, being in this industry, one of the things that we're really good at is being well-rounded and understanding multiple perspectives. A lot of us have to get along with a lot of other people, whether you want to or not, whether it be in-laws, sometimes your own children. Women are put in a lot of instances where we have to find ways to make it work, unlike no other. And so I think that's one of our big strengths. And when you're really looking to bring people together, if you can meet them where they're at and understand where people are coming from, I think that's a strength that we women have, and a benefit that we bring to help bring people together.
Absolutely. And I think one of those unique things that we bring to the table sometimes, and not that it's only for us as women, but I think we tend to use our own vulnerability and share a little bit more of our personal story sometimes in being able to influence those around us or get people moving in the same direction. Can you give maybe an example of a personal moment or story in your life where that has been successful for you?
Yeah, absolutely. So one thing about me is I love assessments. Personal assessments.
I know this about you.
You do know this about me. And so I'm very familiar with Myers-Briggs assessments, and I'm familiar with DISC assessments and Working Genius. And I mean, if there's an assessment out there, I've taken it. And so it's something that I really like. I find it insightful, and not so much about myself, but the reason I really like it is because it teaches me about others. Right. It gives me other perspectives about other people. So there was a time where we acquired another organization and my team tripled in size overnight. Huh. And I had people suddenly reporting to me that were older than me, who knew I knew nothing about their industry and their specific work, and they did not look upon me in a favorable manner. And I don't blame them. Okay, we were all kind of put through that M&A without, I mean, none of us had a say in it.
Understandable, yes.
And so one of the things that I did was I knew that it was a hard environment. It was hard for all of us. It was hard for me, it was hard for them. And so I did a lot of research in my free time, and I'm listening to podcasts like crazy, and I realized assessments are the answer. And so I put the entire team through a DISC assessment, and we did it as a group. They got to do it individually. Those who wanted more information about it beforehand got to look as much as they wanted. But when we all did it, we came together again as a group and put everybody on the map. And it was so fun, and it was so, oh my gosh, it like brought us together. It was like a team building, and we had camaraderie, because when we put people on the map at different places they belong, people laughed and giggled and, oh my gosh, that makes sense, or oh, I totally see why now. And so people that had interesting personalities or different parts of their personality that were funny, or we knew they were sticklers about this, these DISC assessments helped to answer that question as to why. And it wasn't only identifying who they were and meeting them where they were at, but helping us to understand why and give us the tools to communicate with them better.
Absolutely.
So suddenly we're working as a team, we're jiving as a team, because we knew where we each stood. And it was a really fun thing we did together. And that was a turning point at that job.
No, it's such a great technique. And I think it's one of those things where it helps you to build trust across your team. And you're doing it in a way that doesn't feel onerous. You're not telling them, hey, we're now going to go through this change management part of how we're working together and make it feel like it's more work for them, but you're doing it in a way that is bringing those tools to bear, but making it fun and exciting at the same time. And they're seeing the value from it right away.
Yeah.
So it feels like, oh, okay, I can buy into this now.
Yeah.
Now I trust this situation because I can see the benefit of it right away.
Yeah,
So
and
that's
they saw that I cared about them and how they were
Absolutely.
feeling.
Yeah.
And that I cared about what they were going through. And they had to understand that we were all going through that at the same time. We had all been put into this position that none of us had expected.
Yeah.
And so it went from being one of the hardest teams I ever worked on to 18 months later, still to this day is probably one of the strongest teams I've been a part of.
No, that's so exciting. So obviously AI is the topic du jour, right? Everybody is talking about AI. So how are you using AI, sort of day to day in your world today? How do you see that maybe changing? What's going to be happening in your industry or tech as a whole, and kind of how are you feeling about that?
That's a great question. So with AI, we're seeing it infiltrate every industry, every job, role and responsibility. And so with me in meteorology and dealing with weather, we have AI weather models now. So we have our legacy forecast models that process hundreds of meteorological and thermodynamic equations and take into account all this data that's collected from satellites and all over the globe. And it runs through and it takes hours to process to give this information.
Sure.
AI models completely turn that on its head, and they are able to run within a matter of minutes, and they're not running all these equations. They're using machine learning and deep learning to actually kind of understand, hey, what may happen in the future. It's really cool, but we're also approaching it with caution, because we know some of the models have some really good strengths out of the gate, but we also know they have some strong weaknesses too.
Absolutely.
And so we're just validating it and trying to understand where the strengths are. But the things that they're good at are really, really good at, and they're already beating the legacy forecast models we have out there. So you're going to see any industry that deals with the weather, which is anything that has a supply chain. I mean, literally almost every industry touches the weather, are going to be able to see improved forecasts if we really pay attention to where these AI models are good.
Now that's so exciting to see that it's the uses of it, and I think the level of the amount of data that we're able to then process, to your point, with AI so much more quickly. I think that really is the benefit, right? And being able to discern those decision points and see that. So Cyrena, one last question before we end for today. What is some advice that you would offer to younger women coming into the industry?
For younger women coming into the industry, I would say, first of all, when you're still in school, try everything. Because one of the things that was really great for me about doing different internships and trying a lot of different experiences, even saying yes to opportunities I thought I should say no to, I learned an awful lot about myself. I learned about my skill sets, what I liked, what I didn't like, and that helped me later on when it came to finding work. Once you have that work, keep an open mind too. Same thing, try different things. If you have the opportunity to try different roles or responsibilities or new tasks, see what you're comfortable with. But then with that, be true to yourself a little bit as well. So understand what you like and what you don't like, and feel free to say that.
Absolutely.
You don't have to be bottled up. You don't have to be a muted version of yourself. Be your authentic self. If there's things that happen that you don't like, you can say it. If there's things that you do like, say it.
Absolutely.
So just once you get in there and you've tried a lot of things, because that's really the only way you're going to get experience when you're first starting out, is try all the things, but then also be true to yourself and don't be afraid to speak up.
Absolutely. Speak up for what you like, what you don't like, and what you want.
Absolutely.
What opportunity you want to take on. Right?
Absolutely.
Because sometimes certain assumptions are made about your age or your experience, and someone might not know, and they can sort of prejudge what you're able to accomplish. And so you have to speak up for yourself, right? And,
You do,
and ask for those opportunities.
Correct, because no one's going to hand you something otherwise. People aren't going to say, oh wow, I wonder if she's really interested in having a little more responsibility and getting this raise.
Absolutely.
You've got to ask for that. You've got to be the one to take the step.
Absolutely. Well, that's wonderful advice. Cyrena, thank you so much for being here with us today.
Thank you, I appreciate it.